Hello and welcome to this very special show on EastMojo. The question that we are asking tonight is around Sikkim and the devastating floods that have taken place. We all know that the Himalayan ecology is a fragile one, and many experts have asked several questions around where Sikkim and the greater eastern Himalayas have headed because of construction, because of large-scale construction infrastructure projects that are ongoing these days. The question we are asking is development at what cost? The Sikkim conundrum. And the guests joining me tonight are Jorgay Namka, who's a senior advocate. He's been outspoken on several issues around Sikkim. We are also joined by Mr. Bikash Basnet, who's very close to the government, is the press secretary to the chief minister. He'll be giving us his side of the story. Among the younger lot who are joining us are Gyatso Lepcha. He's an anti-dam activist. He's spoken at several international forums against dams and the preservation of the local ecosystem. Also joining me, a person who looks forward with his startups, Rewaj Chettri, founder and CEOs at Any Origins. He's made a name for himself as the startup man of Sikkim, and he's traveled around being a spokesperson for development in the Himalayan states. We are also joined by Mr. Kailash Pradhan, a thinker, architect, and a social activist who's trying to make the Sikkimis understand the real issues on how to improve the quality of life, on how to preserve Sikkim, so to say, in a lot of ways. And we are also joined by Roshan, who's done tremendous work around waste management. He's from Zero Waste Himalaya. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us on this debate. I'm told that Mr. Bikash Basnet is touring around in North Sikkim, which is one of the worst affected areas, and he has to visit a relief camp. Mr. Bikash, we see construction all around. The first lot of damage, so to say, many people are saying, were caused by dams. Now you look at the condition of Gangtok. We've got a 14-story hotel and a parking lot and everything coming up. Can our state, which has got a very fragile ecosystem, take on this kind of development?
First of all, right now, we are totally focused on relief of the people. People are totally disturbed. I would call this as not caused by the development, but it is caused totally by the natural calamity. Because if you see the calamity cause, it is totally caused by the outburst of the lake in the northern part of Mangan district, that is Lunak Lake. When that lake was outburst, then after it came down to the dam, and this time I would like to quote that dam became the savior of the lives of the people. That major incident could had happened because of the early alarming in the dams of Chungthang, as well as in the dam of this lower area, that is Dikchu. This dam, when river rises in this dam, then early alarm was gone to the lower belt where people were residing in the mainly in the areas like Jongu, Singtam, Ramphu, and even in Dikchu. So that because of quick action of the administration, we could save more people. We could aware the people at night, and because of the quick response of the administration, we could awake people at the late night, and they were shifted in the safer camps, or camps which were quickly made in the schools, mandirs, and some of the monasteries as well. So right now, development is like continuous process. We could not go without development, but at present, because of this, the disaster is totally caused by the natural calamity. It has been already declared by the geological survey as well as other agencies. So right now, our prime focus should be to safeguard our people, to make a better relief
and we should tour in the areas where people are residing in the temporary camps. We
Right.
should send maximum help and support. And our government is so quick to safeguard our people, and our chief minister is continuously monitoring the situation in the ground zero. He is is in direct contact with BDOs and other nodal officers who are in the field. So right now, I think I think it is caused by, whether it is caused by major developments, major infrastructure or not. That is the that is a later thing. But right now, our prime focus should be in the relief and rescue of the people.
We totally get it. We totally get it and appreciate the efforts of the government in
Yeah.
restoring the lives of the people who've been disrupted. But because I'm just looking at some of the point, some data which has come to us at the point when the Chungthang dam burst, it was carrying around 5.08 million cubic meters of water. Now that translates to roughly 20,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools. So you can imagine the water stored at that dam was around 20,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools it could fill. So when that dam burst and the water was released, didn't it create more damage? But you are saying that it saved lives.
I'm not talking about the dam, but main this disaster point was this Lunak Lake, which was
Right.
outbursted. But I don't know the reason why that lake was outburst. Might be the because of that lake could not handle the more water reserve, because of there was there were there were indecent rainfall since I guess since 1st of October or so.
So the scientists were giving warnings since
Also,
2013. Because the scientists were warning since 2013, the government, you all sent a team, you all sent a Sikkim government proper team in 2017-18 also. I think I'm told that even last month, a small team from the state government went to review. But why couldn't this disaster?
No, we were completely aware about that, but like in the past government, this dam was executed in the last past government, and it was finished in 2017. But we were we didn't have any option left, because we can't destroy the dam, because if we come to destroy this dam, then again there might be another disaster. And we were trying to safeguard that dam, and we could find out the better ways, better solution in future. But
Right.
but now our major focus is like disaster happened. Now our main prime objective is to save people, and in future we should not do such mistakes, because these mistakes has been done by the past government, and in our government we have not come up with any new projects regarding dam or power project. Like all these dams were constructed in the past government, and all these dams have incurred huge amount of this loan and debts from various sources, from Asian banks to government of India and other mega banks as well. Burden was also already there with the government, so we could not scrap. We are in not position to scrap these dams which was constructed in the past government, because it has incurred a huge financial debts and burden to our government.
Right. I'll just get in Mr. Kailash here. Mr. Kailash, do you agree that this was a totally, a natural phenomena and not caused by the mistakes that we've made as people? It's not man-made.
The main cause was the cloudburst in the glacial lake, the South Lonak, and which started off. But I think it's very clear that it was compounded by the bursting of the dam. Say like when you have the dam has like stored so much of water. In the bottom of the dam also there is like a lot of like debris, like rocks and like siltation and all that. So when the force of the water from higher up came and with the dam accumulated, so there was a kind of a volume amplification just of virus, and like when that big so it was a kind of there was a time, I think, when you see the marks on the houses in Singtam, like, there was at one point in the middle of the night, there was a big, like the water volume was very high. And then subsequently it receded. So, and the water volume being very high was, I think, because of the accumulated water in the dam, which suddenly like gave way. So like it was a big like kind of a thrust of water which came. So yeah, so that's what I think. Like, I mean, it's compounded. Like, it's like you cannot just like just say one. It's only one reason, but I think obviously it started with the cloudburst, but then the bursting of the dam definitely, in my opinion, it compounded the problem.
Let me get in Jorgay. Jorgay, very important point made by Mr. Basnet. He's saying that, his government has not pushed for any new dams now. And perhaps it is a sign that this, government understands the dangers that are there clearly because of the dams and all. So do you think that now the Sikkimese population really needs to think about these mega projects before saying yes to anything, yes to everything, in the greed that we will earn something from these projects?
It's good that you put that question because this has been bothering me for a long time. Okay, we welcome what Bikash said as far as the new projects are coming up. What we must understand, Karma, is this: the quality of the project itself, right? I personally feel, because I did, before coming to this forum, I did a lot of research as far as quality of the project. Here, what Bikash Basnet was saying is that dam, if it withstood what came from top, from the South Lonak Lake, all the water that flew, it was able to withstand that and hold that water. Of course, the disasters could have been averted. Unfortunately, this is the first time that something of this magnitude has happened, and the very first dam where the impact took place, and it is supposed to be, that is stage 3, Tista stage 3 is supposed to be the largest dam. It is supposed to be the highest dam. As far as I think Sikkim is concerned, it could not withstand the impact. Because what I've seen in America, the other places and all, these dams are actually meant to control floods, to control submergence of lower lying areas and all. Unfortunately, the quality of the work, and here it's not the politician that we need to blame, Karma. It's the sense of belonging and the sense of responsibility that the society has towards the environment, right? You talked about just last month, Karma, just last month on 9th of September, there was a team of scientists from Switzerland, along with team from, I think, Land Revenue Disaster Management Department. This Swiss team is supposed to have installed an alarm system, and it handed over to the government of Sikkim. That's what I believe, and that's what's there in the papers also. Okay, they did a study on Lonak Lake and Sakho. There were two teams. They bifurcated themselves in North Sikkim. One went to Lonak Lake and the other went to Sakho Lake. And they spent, I think, 2 weeks time there studying, right? And here we have a society, here we have the bureaucrats who are least bothered about what is happening also. Right? And the question that you put is, I feel it's not only time for our society to wake up, it's for us to be responsible also, including the government officials, the quality of the works. We've been talking about, I think Gyatso is very well aware, it's one issue as far as Sikkim's development is concerned. It is not about the development itself. The one issue which everyone is scared of in Sikkim is the corruption that takes place, the quality of the project that is outcome of that development work. That is what we are worried about. Development needs to take place at a certain pace, but it has to be a quality development. You see any project, Karma, forget about the dams and all. You see any government projects, a government RCC building being built, a government school being built, government hospital being built. Look at the condition of STNM hospital here. It was not built so far long ago. And the same engineers, if you go to their house, you will see the quality of the project of their own house and the quality of the project of that hospital. You compare, and then you'll ask 100 questions. What is the difference? What's wrong? It's the quality of the work.
Right. So these are pertinent questions that you've raised, quality of work. But then, I come back to that question I've been asking. Can our region, can our Himalayas take these kind of mega infrastructure projects? Roshan, you've seen the challenges of working with the people, isn't it? It is very easy for them now to say, no, this is not the time to talk about these issues. But then when is the time? People have no time to think, talk about these issues, because these issues are not entertaining. They would rather go on Instagram or YouTube and watch those reels, be entertained, than talk about these issues which are affecting us every day.
Yeah, exactly, right. Environmental crises take a long time to build, and what we are seeing today is a manifestation that happened way before the dams were built, And so I think environmental crisis and community voices have always been marginalized in the development prospect. So I just wanted to bring in a slightly broader framework here, is that this is not just a question of Sikkim. This is a question of the entire Himalaya too, right? Because we've seen similar situations in Himachal this year, Uttarakhand in the past, like the Darjeeling Sikkim Himalaya has a long history of these disasters, including in our folk tales. So I think, so in that sense, I think it's not just about citizens of the mountains, but India as a nation and the globe as a single planet, responding to the fragility and importance of the Himalaya, and then subsequently acknowledging it with proper resource allocation and recognizing policies and development pathways that needs to be sensitive to the mountains is what is important. But as of now, we don't have any special mountain lens per se. So we are made to extract as much as possible from the mountains, whereas our mountains cannot take that. So I think, and we cannot just couch our response by saying, let's be focused on the now. We have to be long-term, right? And if you look at, just to add on to what Kailash was saying, is like the glacial lake outburst floods are also hugely responsible because of climate change, right? And then likewise, if we did not have such a lot of infrastructure work along the river, maybe the flow wouldn't have been to what we see right now. So I think that's what I wanted to kind of add on also, that it is not just an issue of Sikkim alone. It's an issue of the Himalaya, and it's also an issue of the planet. But at least at the Indian nation state, we just need to recognize the fragility and importance of the mountains and have that lens in policy and resource allocation,
What Bikash Basnet, the spokesperson of the current government, clearly said, that one, this was a problem which was started by the earlier government. They are the ones who built the dam. They are left with that legacy. And from here on, they are not going to build any dams. That is not your story, isn't it? Because you see every time that there is a move to build more dams.
Well, we hope that Mr. Basnet has has really spilled out the actual intention of the government. If that's the intention of the government, we welcome that. And since most of you must be following our movement, every day, every week, we are doing, we are struggling. We are struggling to save the last stretch of free-flowing Tista, which is between this, bursting of this stage 3 dam and stage 5. The stage 4, which has been, which is proposed there. The present government is also pushing to implement this. And then from past 4 years, our effort is on at least saving this last stretch of the Tista, and also to stop this stage 4. And we have been going through a lot. But again, saying that, we would love to hear this from the present government, and we do have faith on the present government. And I hope with this incident, this tragedy that we faced today, I think Sikkim has to completely rethink the hydroelectric power projects. We also, as a team, somebody who thinks about this, about the river, restoring the river ecosystem, we would like to again demand the government of Sikkim to decommission the stage 5 also, which is in Dikchu, which is hardly heated, because Dikchu dam has been passed in during the COVID 2 years continuously during the September month. If I'm so precise that in September 2nd of the month, there was a landslide on the top of the dam. Now with this landslide and this flash flood again, so there's a question on the life and on how the health of that dam also. So who is going to monitor that? Dikchu stage 5 is one which we are now concerned about. Forget about stage 3 dam. It's gone now. It's completely washed away. But stage 5 is what we are concerned about, the stage 5 dam, which is going to have its stakes on all the the river, the town that we had right from Singtam till the West Bengal, and it will have a huge impact in the Bangladesh. So this is a big concern, and we would like to bring we would like to bring it to the government also, to the knowledge of government, that now government of Sikkim should think about decommissioning the stage 5 also. Stage 3 was disaster, and then I still remember as a young person, just finished law, on the public hearing of stage 3 Chungthang Dam. That day, and it was from the SDF government, but that day the pollution board chairman from the government has tagged us as an anti-national at public hearing, saying that these people who doesn't want this dam are anti-national. So what has happened today to Sikkim? Who are suffering? The whole of Sikkim, including all the government and all of us, the people are suffering. How we are going to come back? How we are going to, I think this busting of this dam has pushed us to 30 years back, if not less than that.
As you said, yeah, so it is time for all of us to think now. Time for all of us to think. When I saw the video yesterday of the dam in Chungthang, it took me to Lord of the Rings. I don't know how many of you will remember when the Ents attacked Isengard. The way they attacked Isengard with stones, and they burst a dam, and that whole thing was taken down. It was just a scene straight out of that movie. It's very visual for me. On that note, how do we balance it? Because every year, it is not just the infrastructure aside, we are sending thousands of tourists every day to the mountains. We are sending them to Gurudongma, we are sending them Changu Lake, thousands and thousands of diesel guzzling jeeps going. There's a strain on the infrastructure. There is no water in Gangtok during the tourist season. I mean, how do we balance as a entrepreneur? How do you think we can balance this? Can this balance ever be made?
It's all about money, Karma. Once we start being less materialistic, being corrupt as a society, I think things will fall into a place. Just a simple example. Gyatso will be very, very aware. I'll just give you a simple example where it disheartens everybody. We had Gyatso, Mr. Lepcha, who we are all aware of, right? He was against this dam, the dams in Sikkim. This was, I think, 2015, 16, 17, 14. He gave that part of his life towards saving River Tista. And he was one of the candidates in one of the elections. He just not lost. He did not just lose the election. The number of votes that was casted in his favor. It tells the entire story of our society, who we are, what we are. And then we are not bothered about it. The saddest part is nobody gives a shit about it. We're not bothered about it until and unless the people who are speaking here get so, I think, Kailash, they are rarity. These are rarity species. We don't have. It's all about what is my faida and what is not my faida. Right? And look at how rampant it was. The construction of the dam. How rampant it was without, Karma, I just came across a report. As far as stage 3, which gave way to this one. Even the reports were manipulated. Can you beat it? At that point of time, the state bureaucrats manipulated the reports in order to get environmental clearance. I have it in one of these papers. However, the Ministry of Environmental Forest went on to go this decision and granted environment clearance. This is a Center for Financial Accountability. This is a report by Center for Financial Accountability. And who gives the report? Who does the report? Is it the politician? It's also the bureaucrats who sign on this, right? So we can't just, I'm saying, of course, the politicians at that point of time also are to be blamed. But what is happening here is our bureaucrats are getting let off without any shame. Who was the person who signed all this? Who was the person who manipulated all this? It was not the minister at that point of time. It must have been some secretary. Who is the secretary? We need to find all these people out. But if anybody bothered, I don't think so, Karma.
Exactly, Jorgay. Because these stories, as I said earlier, are not sexy. They are ugly. And most of us want dopamine, and we are always looking for positive stories that we fail to read the warning on the wall. That's our story. That's our story. And, I would say, and as you said rightly, Roshan, Kailash Daju, Gyatso are endangered species, because they are going to be extinct very soon at the rate that the society is going. On that point, Kailash Daju, you have seen this, sensitive. They seem to have lost the will to care. They've, seem to have lost the will to care for even the environment around them. They actually, till a stone actually comes and hits them, Do you feel frustrated when you go around telling people, hey, there's a sword above your head, and they're happily dancing to some music?
For me, I've accepted, there's a particular generation, even people my age or older than me, somehow, whenever I try to talk positive, I know we've got to do something about this. And they're like, this, it's like this, no hope kind of a thing, But when I speak with the younger people, when I talk to the younger people, when I engage with them, I get a completely different picture, they are much more aware. I feel that within the two generations, the big difference is the older generation probably growing up in maybe weaker economic conditions, or maybe coming from out of feudalism. There was a lot of insecurity, and there's a lot of somehow or the other, it doesn't matter if you have to do corruption or you got to borrow money, but I got to build a house, I got to send my kids to a good school, I got to have some economic security. But then, having done that, their kids don't have that same that deep psychological insecurity, and I don't think that they are so okay with corruption. For the older generation, they kind of justified it to themselves. I think that corruption is because not because that I want to do a world tour, like I have a flat in wherever, like abroad, in Delhi, Bombay. It was more like about, like, I need to have some money for my parents' health, or, like for my kids' education. So it was, so this shift brings a lot of hope to me, that there is a new consciousness among the people, which is actually led by the younger people, that they care about the environment, they care about other things, they have more less ego, they have more empathy, they have more kind of like there is some kind of an evolution thing which is happening. If you notice, a lot of the kids nowadays, all of them are very much close to animals. In all my generation, like, guys were more like into like kicking dogs and cats. Like, they were not like so much into like that thing. So I feel that there is evolution is happening, and so there is like hope, and there is like light at the end of the tunnel, I feel. Karma.
Great. I mean, if you are seeing this, it makes me happy. Roshan, whenever I see, whenever I go to my village and I take a walk, all I see are wrappers of YY, some sweet, this, that, and all. And you are fighting an uphill battle. You are fighting against big, big MNCs, telling them that you want the Himalayas, not just the Himalayas, the other areas also to be plastic free. Do you align, or do you align with what Kailash Dad is saying, that there is hope now, especially from the younger lot?
I have to have hope, that's the only way. So I do echo the sentiments of Kailash. Kailash and me go a long way. And I think that's the only way we can continue our work. It is frustrating. I don't take away that, but extremely frustrating. But I think there is hope. And then I think the younger generation definitely are creative. They are sensitive. They are very mindful. And then I think events like this sadly kind of bring forth, I think, deeper reflection in our societies, and as, like I said, like, national and global citizens as such. But I guess in terms of like, and then I think I just wanted to quickly also mention what is happening with the disaster is very relevant to even waste, right? From what I hear in North Sikkim, some of the plastic waste management units that were created all got washed down, because most of our waste is actually, dumped on rivers, right? I heard the Singtam sewage management system got washed away, like, so there's always these side stories also, and I think that's something that is important to consider. I am hopeful, but I think it also throws on critical questions of development. But I think deeper, like, what does profiteering mean, and how do we tax so that we don't depend on profiteering corporates who just extract out of our systems? What does it mean to have local cultures and local markets, that we don't depend on huge external like profiteering groups or big oil? Big oil is equally contributing to waste, plastic waste. Big oil contributes to synthetic agriculture. So I think all that relationship is also there, So yeah, I'm hopeful, but I think I would like to add on a nuance to what Kailash said, is I think the need for speedy work is important. Right. I think there is, for me, I'm hopeful, but also the sense of urgency sometimes really shakes me up. Like, like we need to do things a bit faster than just allow things to just naturally flow. Because we know the climate crisis is real, the plastic crisis is real, and that intersects. And I think for me to listen to the government spokesperson saying, as of now, let's focus on the relief, is great. But if we do not focus on larger development issues, this will repeat again, right? The Darjeeling, Sikkim, Himalaya have a long history of disaster. And so I think bringing in communities is important. What Gyatso talked about, the public hearing, is a story that we see and hear right across the Himalaya, whether be it in Himachal, Sikkim, Arunachal, Darjeeling. Public hearings are namesake, and it cannot be namesake anymore. This is our Himalaya. We need to own it,
You talked about side stories. One of the side stories is that it's not a side story, it's a scary story. The press release from the government says the local population are hereby warned that explosives or ammunition, etc., may be found along the Tista Basin. These ammunition should not be handled or picked up since they may explode and cause grievous injuries. This is a side story, and this is a scary side story. With that side story, I can see Rewaj now. I'll come to you, Rewaj. Rewaj, as an entrepreneur, you have seen the growth of Gangtok, the explosive growth of Gangtok. Gangtok to us now is unrecognizable. We used to talk about the growth of Darjeeling. Now every corner there is hotel. There is no water to drink during the tourist season. What do we do?
I've seen in my last 10 years as a young entrepreneur journey, I've seen that like we are still following the trend that happens in villages, right? Like if a farmer does really well growing tomatoes for the first year, the second year you will see the entire village growing the same thing, right? Similarly, that's the case with Gangtok. That has happened in Gangtok, right? Like you see many restaurants opening up and closing in the same place because there is a culture where a lot of times we see one success story and we think that everyone doing the same thing will be successful, right? And I think that has happened with the hotels. Hotels is one place where people see there is a growth of tourism, right? And since Kashmir was closed for a very long time, since a lot of people preferred Sikkim because of the peaceful nature. So I think that is one reason why a lot of people in Sikkim invested a lot in infrastructure. But today, if we see, I think as a young entrepreneur, the opportunity what I see is beyond tourism. I think this is the time when we diversify. Like even in tourism, we must diversify into more of experiential stays or something which is not just concrete jungle or a concrete building with rooms, right? Or maybe a jungle camp, or maybe something offbeat is what people are looking for right now. I was just at Zero, and I could see the experience that Zero can provide. We all stayed in homestays. We all stayed there were tens and thousands of people staying in camps. So I think the model which Sikkim has right now, if you see right now, I think in past few years, there is an uprise of very quality resorts and hotels in Sikkim and in Gangtok. And I think that is one thing that Sikkim has, and Sikkim has a good carrying capacity, but at the same time, that has become a challenge for a lot of people. We don't have the same room occupancy we used to have 3 or 4 years back. So I think there is one challenge uphill for us in terms of tourism. How do we restructure, or how do we think about things beyond tourism, or how do we reshape the entire I think the ecosystem that we have built as of now. So that is one concern which I personally feel. But it's an uphill battle for us to convert all this infrastructure into something else now.
What's your position on new dams and the mega projects?
I think the government announcing mini hydel project that should be given to local entrepreneurs below 5 megawatt. I think that is a very welcoming thing for at least for local entrepreneurs. But I think they are no takers because the kind of investment and the kind of ROI which mini hydel gives, I think it's not justified is what I hear, because I don't share a very personal interest with hydel power project. But I think the new dams that are coming up, I don't know, as I think the spokesperson of the government also mentioned, there are no new project coming up. And I think that is what the government is looking for, into more of sustainable way how energy can be generated. I think one promising project that is coming up in Canggu by a local entrepreneur, Mr. Bhandari, is in solar energy in the uphill of East Sikkim towards Canggu, just below Canggu, towards Suluk and also. So I think there are very promising projects beyond hydel that is coming up in Sikkim. But yeah, I think it's an uphill task for us to diversify beyond. I think the kind of load we have given to hydel is immense. But yeah, I think we must diversify, and I think the government is very positive towards newer source of. There's a new hydrogen policy that the government is planning to frame. So we seem to diversify, but yeah, it's with the huge investment from the government side too on hydropower project in the previous government. So I think it's a huge uphill for us right now.
We are running out of time, so I'll quickly, take a look at the solutions, starting with Jorgay. Jorgay, I know you want to make a point, but apart from that, what are the solutions that we can look at now?
The speaker just before me said something very interesting. So I was just wondering, Karma, this I think we've discussed with a lot of youngsters who are very close to the government. I discussed this potential of this, but I do not know the drawbacks of this. Wind turbine, right? It converts kinetic energy of wind into electrical energy, right? Because we are always thinking about electricity generation projects. And then Sikkim, if you see, almost all the places, we have Hurure Dara here in Gangtok, we have Menam Dara, and as far as Gurudongmar, North Sikkim, Gurudongmar Lake, after 11-12, nobody can go to that place because of the wind, the high wind that blows in those places. So I think the government should look towards this kind of alternative, right? Wind turbine would, I do not know, but I think we'll have to do the study on as far as the drawbacks also. But this is one thing that we must. The other thing that what Kailash has said positive is, of course, the youngsters are much more conscious, and then they don't want to lie low. They don't take any bullshit from anybody, right? Because they feel it is their place. And of course, they're right? And that's the positive. Negative, though, we've already seen.
Let's hope, the youngsters come up. That's my hope. As far as wind is concerned, Jorgay, wind has also got its negatives. It is ugly. I have seen the wind turbines down south. It is ugly. It destroys the place. You will not look at the place the same way when these massive wind turbines are set up, and they make a terrible racket. And when they are decommissioned, you have to cut and you have to bury the fans, So that is another environmental disaster, like Roshan would tell me. So every renewable energy comes with its negatives. In our mountains, it'll be a blot. No, you'll not be able to take a selfie with the Kanchenjunga in the background. You'll have to take a selfie with Kanchenjunga and the wind turbine in the background. Kailash, Raju, over to you on the solutions very quickly.
And for me, what Bikash Basnet was saying earlier, it was so ironic, why are we doing these hydropower projects? Why are we screwing up all the environment? Why are we creating such a mess? So that we can earn some revenue. Just for that, it's for that purpose, so that it can help us to get a little bit of economic sustainability, and we don't have to depend on Delhi so much. And that is the sole reason. But right now, he's saying the main problem that we're having is we are stuck up with financial kind of encumbrances, and it's become a financial liability. So I can't understand, what are you trying to do? I mean, you want to screw up the environment, you want to screw up everything that's dear for us and create a mess, or electricity bill is going up all the time. I mean, I don't think Sikkim is earning that much revenue from hydropower. So, and in fact, we've kind of got ourselves in liabilities. We are borrowing money to buy shares, and I don't know, we've landed up in such a mess. So the problem is actually how were these projects kind of commissioned? And what was the rationale for within a period of 2-3 years, sanctioning more than 20-25 projects? So, I mean, how many projects does Sikkim need? And so this very myopic lack of imagination is one, but it's also driven by pure corruption, and you have crony capitalists coming from the other side. In a way, big projects commissions are huge, and so I don't think it's any secret that the reason that all these projects were commissioned at that time was so that you could rake in the percentages. So unless we fix our governance, we'll not be able to do anything right. So we need to have good people in positions of decision making. We need to have integrity in our system, and yeah, so if we do that, then we can have a long-term plan, we can have a long-term vision, and which is completely missing from today's. Everything is knee-jerk reaction. You do something, it's just for looking at the next election, as that's your main motive. So we don't have any long-term plan for anything like the hydropower projects. Sorry, you said to make it short, Karma. For me, I just feel like, just to make this point, hydropower projects for Sikkim was our ticket to the future, If Kuwait has oil, like we had hydropower, like we have a huge kind of a captive market, like which is India, the rest of the country, and we are sitting on this. So if we did something, okay, we didn't have to do like so many. We could have done one or two, do them really well, but use that as an opportunity to solve your employment problems. Use that as an opportunity to like build up your technical capacity. And we have a whole like like a power department with hundreds of like electrical engineers. They need like some job to do. I mean, we could have given them something like good. And somehow we have to kind of like own our problems. We have to kind of like, instead of just getting money from Delhi and throwing it at a problem, we have to own our problems. The problems are the opportunities by which we will grow, like. So I just feel that we squandered like a golden opportunity, like the only opportunity, like real opportunity that Sikkim had, the way that we handled the hydropower project. We didn't have any policy on hydropower. Like, I don't know what we were doing. We were just like dreaming when this thing happens.
Perfectly taken. It's the point that Jorgay said, quality. Have less, but have things which are of great quality. So we have these mega dams.
Yeah, and sorry, Karma, can I just add something? And ownership, like why do we relinquish our ownership of our assets? Like, look at Bhutan, like what they did, one Chuka, which is done by NHPC. The next one, Tala, it was done by the Bhutan Hydropower Corporation. They made one. They got Khazanchi, who was the project manager of Chuka. They gave him a fat salary. They made him the project manager of Tala. And like, while we are getting 12%. For Tala, they got 100%. Like, why are we happy with this 12%? Like some kind of, okay, we can't do it. Somebody will give us 12% instead of like, rolling up your sleeves. Like, well, it might be difficult. The first one might be tough. Let's do it. Let's own 100% of this. Let's get overall revenue. So the sense of ownership, the sense of responsibility is not there. What Jorgay is saying is very true. It's not there in the people. It's not there in our leaders, So, and I feel that that's where the change is required, the mindset change is required.
Certainly so. We said, okay, we'll build dams, there'll be opportunities, our people will get employment. It did not happen. Then they said, okay, pharmaceutical companies will come, our people will get employment. Our people are still looking for jobs and they want government jobs. That's where, Gyatso, we need a rethink. So on your part, having been an activist, you have traveled around the world speaking at various forums. Do you see a solution? Or have we really reached a point of no return? When I come back to Gangtok and see Gangtok from Ranipul, I feel that we've reached a point of no return.
I think what we are missing here today with all the conversations, right from the government, Mr. Bikash, to our own, Rewaj, and all great people, all fantastic, talented, and Kailash Dazu, and, I guess Jorgay and you and so. I think we are missing the carrying capacity. This carrying capacity, this phrase, carrying capacity, is something we are missing. And afno buri herer ta khanu paryo ni ta. I think we are missing that carrying capacity. How much carrying capacity we as a Sikkim has? Let it be hydro dam, let it be tourism, let it be something else, yeah? Wind energy, whatever we want to do, other kind of industry we want to bring. But unless we understood what is our carrying capacity, right? We realize what we know our carrying capacity. If we go beyond that, same things will repeat. What we are seeing today from past 2 days, it's going to repeat. I think this is time we need to really understand that how much we can take. Okay, and also talking about the wind, we were talking about the solar energy, we were talking about the even wind energy now. Why we need this? How much electricity we are going to generate? How much we as a Sikkim consuming? Do we as a civil society, as a citizen of Sikkim, we know how much we are consuming? No, I don't think 99% of Sikkim knows that how much consumption is required for Sikkim. We are consuming right now, average between 60 to 80 megawatts per in a peak hour. And Sikkim is how much we are generating. Minus today, what happened with, stress free. We are already consuming approximately around 2,300 megawatt.
No, generating.
Yeah. So it's enough. Just Just stop talking about generating electricity from any form now. We can't just bring huge tower and put land, this fan on as a windmill. And why we are under such a liabilities? Why we have to take all the pressure? Why we have to be like generator of the country? So please, I think, and also I think what we are missing is indigenous knowledge and indigenous culture. Today, if you see, even today, after two days of this aftermath of this disaster that we are facing Sikkim, no one is vocal. If you see the people, the youth, as I really appreciate what Kailash Dasu said, that young people are really coming up and saying, is the people only from Zongu region, the Lepcha youth are speaking out. You can just go check. They are saying no more dams, Separatista, let the river flow freely. These are coming because we are indigenous. We were told by our ancestors that your natural resources, your nature around is your duty to conserve and preserve for it. You don't think our young people has aspiration like other kids? Our younger people has same aspiration like who stays in Gangtok, other communities. But our youngsters are saying this because I think we have been able to pass it, the culture and the morals and the values to our younger generation. I think this needs to be changed. Our mentality, this has to change. Sikkimese culture has to come back. The real Sikkimese culture essence has to come back, and we have to really, really inject this to our youth, younger generation. And I think that's the only way if we can move forward. Otherwise, I think if you think that Tista will not come back again with this amount of water and the current, no, then we are all wrong. You are wrong. Tista gonna come back again because we on all the top we have all these water bodies in the form of lakes, in the form of glaciers. It's all there. It's all threatening with the climate change. It's happening, and we have been speaking all the time, and everybody is deaf dumb. Nobody speak out because everybody sitting in Gangtok feels that this is Lepcha's job. This is Zongu people's job, and our small community, this group is called Affected Citizens of Tista. Today, you tell me who is Affected Citizens of Tista. Right from Lachen to West Bengal, we all are affected citizens of Tista. I think what we named our organizations, I think truly today, I think people realize it, and I'm just, it's so sad. And if you still think that we are spared by this tragedy, no, it's going to come back again.
Certainly, and we have to now, I think, start thinking and saying that, we are the people who are blessed by the Tista because we need to take care of our rivers. Rewaj, if you can hear me to you now to talk about solutions, what are the solutions?
I think Gyatso correctly mentioned about the carrying capacity, right? Like it's not that, I think, for example, today we are trying solar, like in the eastern Sikkim, right? And I think we need to keep discovering new form of energy. We haven't done anything with waste to wealth as of now in Sikkim. If you see the landfill in Battis number, I think that is something that is looming again and looking at us, right? And I think that can also generate a lot of energy, which could fuel maybe a small town or a city. So I think we should look beyond, and we should keep innovating in terms of looking at very sustainable way how we can use our resources, like in terms of how we can convert like anything. Like for me, when I was in my school, it was dams was a source of renewable energy, right? And it was good for the mother earth. That is what we learned. But today, what we have seen with the recent burst of Chumthang Dam, I think that is because I live in Singtam, and right now I'm speaking from one of the relief centers, right? And it's crazy to think the kind of effect which has caused in the belt of Sikkim. So maybe I would take away one from everyone. I think there should be quality work done, right? The dam should be quality. There should be quality work done towards building of dams, or maybe whatever we have. Like, how do we make sure that it's in proper shape and order so that we don't face similar challenges again? We should keep innovating and we should keep looking for new source of energy, maybe hydrogen energy, or maybe solar energy, or maybe wind energy up to some extent. But yeah, at the same time, we should always keep looking towards what future holds for us. And I think at the same time, we as the younger generation who are coming up, we want to make sure that we don't destroy our Mother Earth, and we safeguard Sikkim and Sikkim's identity, which is the nature, right? Like Sikkim is popular with for its green cover, and I think we should always look forward towards policy which keeps this cover and which ensures that our coming generation can enjoy the same beauty that we are enjoying right now.
Right, and what Gyatso said, I take that with me. Why do we need more? Look at the carrying capacity. Do we really need more energy, or can we manage with what we have? A final word to you, Roshan.
I just want to kind of quickly highlight the fact that in the Himalaya, especially the Eastern Himalaya, we're living in a multi-hazard zone, right? Seismically active, high, like multiple, landslides, or vulnerability that needs to be acknowledged, right? And I think that needs to be acknowledged in terms of policy, in terms of resource allocation. I keep saying that because I think a lot of the states have to invest in this kind of rampant destructive development process, because there is not sufficient national policies that recognizes the fragility and the importance of the Himalaya and the mountains and Sikkim. And Sikkim, this is a case. Secondly, sadly, this should be a wake-up call, because this could be a trailer for more disasters to come, right? And so we cannot look at disasters from a short-term perspective, and it needs to have a long-term perspective. And it cannot be just removed from the development narrative as such, and cannot be looked at it from pure relief work alone. Disaster is linked to our development processes as such, and that needs to be acknowledged. And finally, from a solution perspective, at a national level and global level, recognizing the importance and fragility of the Himalaya with proper policies and resource allocation. But I think internally, as citizens of the Himalaya, recognizing that our Himalaya interconnected and transboundary, but importantly, to kind of really move into this a process of localization and institutional processes that strengthen communities to be resilient and self-sufficient. And I think if we have that vision, whether it be waste, whether it be energy, whether it be livelihoods, whether it be investment, I think that is for ourselves, and it will be sufficient for us. And it's not for profiteering and for greed, and that's what I would say, Thank you.
We've completely run out of time. Just to pause for all of us and the takeaways from all the experts here, I think what all of us discussed today is just the tip of a glacial lake that is forming. And there are many glacial lakes that are forming even as we speak because of global warming. And this is a clear and present danger for all the Himalayan region, countries, states, everybody. So we need to recognize that. The other thing we need to recognize is that tomorrow, as we move away from this disaster, we short-term memory, we start forgetting about this disaster. Then we move on with our good news. We try to look at Instagram, we try to look at YouTube and feel good. We need that dopamine. But do remember, as Kailash said, that the youngsters are here. Please do go back and discuss these uncomfortable questions, wherein we are not finding answers every day. There are answers, but what? And as Gyatso said, do we need this? That's the first question we all need to ask. With that, we come to the end of the show. Thanks for watching. I'd like to thank my panelists very much for being part of this. We will continuously keep this debate going because, as you know, news is ugly. something that you need to hear is always Arabic. So thanks for watching. Do remember, you can go to eastmojo.com, subscribe, and support us because this region needs independent journalism. Thanks for watching.